We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 69 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this week's episode, we are going to talk about the Oscar nominations that just came out.
And try not to laugh at the fact that this is episode 69.
See, I wasn't even going to talk about that because we're adults
but I was
here.
thinking the exact same thing that Andrew was just thinking. Like, we're going to do our best not to laugh at it the entire time because we're really children at heart.
We forgot to grow up.
That's fair.
Exactly.
So we'll talk about the Oscar nominations. We'll not laugh about things, and then we'll talk about what we watched this week. And that's it. That's the agenda. So let's launch into these Oscar nominations, I guess. Where do we want to start? We start with the obvious category, the Best Picture category.
The Best Picture one? Okay, well, I'm interested to hear what your guys' opinions on them are.
So we've got Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. Now, I've seen two, Andrew, and I've seen one, and Scott's seen one. We saw the same one.
Yep.
I would have liked to have seen Vice, but I didn't. I don't know if it's
Vice was fantastic.
Was it?
Oh, you
Yes.
saw Vice? I didn't know that.
I would have. I think I would actually really like Vice, based on what it looked like.
Okay. My money, if I had to bet on something, it would either be Black Klansman or Black Panther.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going one of those ways. But deep down inside, like, I want to give it to Vice. Like, it was just intense. I honestly, it was just Christian Bale's ability to change his body into whatever the fuck he wants to turn it into. Sam Rockwell being a fantastic actor who just, like, I look at him and I just want to laugh. It doesn't matter what role he's in. And seeing him as W was just like, haha. But I want to give it to Vice, but honestly, I think it's going Black Klansman or Black Panther.
That seems reasonable to me.
I feel like there will be riots in the street if Black Panther doesn't clean the fuck up.
It does sometimes feel that way a little bit lately.
Yeah.
As you read a little bit of, like, the Oscar talk and the fact that they, like, not cleaned up, but they did okay. They got a couple big awards at the SAG Awards, so
Yeah.
like, it does have a little bit of a leaning towards those two, I would think. But there's also a few others that I've heard inklings about, but it all gets muddy because it's like, oh, well, yeah, all these movies are across pretty much every category, you know what I mean? Like, all the Best Picture ones are also all the lead actors and all the lead actresses and all those supporting actors.
I feel like there's a lot of bias that we don't, like, as laymen, we don't understand and don't get for these nominations and all that stuff. Like, because there's movies that have definitely come out this year that I would have put on this list before some of these ones, considering I've never fucking heard of Roma. I've never heard of that movie.
You didn't hear of Roma?
No, I never even heard of that.
That one's a Netflix one. That's the only reason I was surprised about that one.
Never heard of Roma.
That's
so
fair.
Why is that on this list to me? The Black Klansman, at least in Canada, didn't get nearly as much exposure as it should have.
Yeah, I didn't even know when that hit theaters, to be honest.
Yeah,
that one
so, like,
past me.
I feel like they just lean heavily on, like, especially nowadays, maybe back in the day when it was originating and just starting to get gain some steam as, like, the big award show. Maybe then it was based around who was talking about it, or maybe let's just give it our honest opinion.
Well, then there's less movies.
Yeah, but I feel like now it's just whatever people talk about most, regardless of whether it was worthy or not.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I could speak to the worthiness of most of these just because I haven't seen most of them, so I can't really speak to that. If you know what I mean. But I know what you mean. I agree because it's weird that it's like, well, I didn't go see most of these for a reason, in a sense, and it's like, how does that apply as the best, you know?
I honest to God wouldn't put A Star is Born on my best pictures list. I would definitely say the acting came in, like, quality-wise. It definitely deserves a nod towards, like, the soundtrack. I wouldn't say it's the best fucking movie of the year.
Yeah, no, again couldn't speak to that.
Green Book was an amazing movie.
So you've seen most of these, eh?
Yeah, I've never fucking heard of Roma, but I've seen most of them.
So mine and Craig's initial thing that we came into this, we each saw one and you saw two, is completely wrong.
I was just gonna let it slide.
You saw all but what? All but Roma, apparently.
Yeah, and The Favorite.
And The Favorite. That's the one I've never heard of. Like
I think that's the one about Queen whatever with the stuffs.
I believe it's something to do with Victorian era. Somebody.
Yeah.
That's all I've gotten from a poster I saw when this was nominated. That's about it. That's all I've heard about it. And I'm like, well, how does this thing have a significant cultural impact if, I haven't heard of it? Like,
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel like it's just somewhere along the way it was we either need to have movies on here that are different, things that aren't the everyday, something that it's culturally shocking to be. It's something different that no one's done before, regardless of its quality. And then you also get times where I feel like sometimes it's just we need to get this actor this award.
Yeah.
Or we need to find Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a shame that he hasn't won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Well, it took him fucking years to get it. He didn't earn it before.
Yeah.
That. It's not a shame he didn't have one. It was just he didn't fucking measure up. And I feel like there's just
that's their own.
I feel like there's just a lot of and I think there's just a lot of pressure to make these movies that or actors who may not cut it have stuff just to say they did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All that being said, I think it's going to be Black Panther, Black Klansman. If Bohemian Rhapsody gets, I'm going to be fucking livid. But at the same time, I get it. There's, 4 movies on this list that I look at immediately, and I think, okay, these ones hit, a specific demographic.
Yeah, and that's where I'm they could stick out. That's where I'm struggling to pick one in particular, because I'm okay.
Vice is just a movie about an old white guy. Okay, it was a good fucking movie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I want to see that one win just because it was something that really no one had seen yet.
Yeah.
Done in a movie. But same with other things, no one had ever seen the Queen movie. No one had ever seen the Black Klansman movie, so I can't really lean just on that, but I would want to see Vice win. But there's a lot of movies on here, Green Book is phenomenal. It was a fucking amazing movie.
I've heard that.
I like that it was historically accurate. I like that they didn't try to stray away, and they give you the knowledge of just how deeply fucking depressing his history, especially in the southern states, are, with the fact that they had a Green Book that was black people can stay at these hotels. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And it still is that way in some spots. But I like that one. It wouldn't be my pick just because it is an obscure movie that I don't think a lot of people went to see.
Yeah.
It was more of a...
Well, I don't think it was available ever. That's the problem with some of these.
That's fair,
very limited runs. They tend to be ones that start off with indie runs, and then they get major releases. But I live in the capital city of Ottawa, and that's apparently not a major city.
No.
And it's wait, how is Ottawa not a major enough city in Canada for it to get a theatrical release of some of these things? And I'm just okay, well, or it's only in one theater.
Especially considering fucking Belleville gets most of them.
Yeah,
or Peterborough.
It's just crazy. I'm just wait, what's happening? Or it'll only be available one that's 45 minutes away. And I'm I gotta go 45 minutes to watch a movie. I have to add the length of the movie onto my commute.
Welcome to my life, man. Welcome to my life.
That's fair. I always forget about that when I'm complaining about my commute to get to the movies.
I went to see Vice about a month ago, and it's on theater or in theaters this week in town.
Oh God.
The Green Book, I just saw it the other day because it was in town last week. That is the only reason I saw it, because I didn't even fucking know it was out until I've seen previews, but I never saw a release date until I was oh shit, it's in town. I better go see that.
Yeah, no, I was in the same boat. I have no idea when most of these movies came out this year.
Yeah. So are we ready to move on from Best Picture now that I've given my little rant about I feel like it's going to be these ones, but I want it to be this one?
Yeah. I'm
good
cool
to move
with
on?
it.
Okay.
Are you settled with it, Craig?
Yeah, I'm happy with what we've talked about.
Okay. I wasn't
what I've
sure.
talked
You didn't
about.
interject too much, yeah.
Moving on to lead actor. What do you guys lean towards?
Well, I haven't seen any of these movies.
I
So,
also have not seen any of
It's
these
nice
movies.
to see Viggo Mortensen getting work.
I want William Dafoe to win just because I like him as a person. And
I have
like-
never heard of At Eternity's Gate.
I believe that literally came out just at the very end of the year. Like I think it was out for the last 2 weeks of the
Let me
year,
pull
or
this
just
up.
December. It did not get a wide release. I know that. But no, I just want him to win just because I like him, and I'm like, yeah, why not? I didn't see any of the movies.
This is a total tangent, and I'm
Yep.
trying to stay on topic these last couple weeks. Have you guys noticed that lately? Like one actor will pop up, and he'll be in like 4 or 5 projects in a year, and then you just won't fucking hear about him again for another 4 or 5 years. Like I was kind of talking to you about this the other day, Scott, with Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
How like I hadn't seen him in anything, and then all of a sudden he's in a couple things again.
Yeah. I have a
Like-
theory about that.
There's like a couple actors that I've seen it happen with lately.
I could call it the balancing the books year, which is like, 5 years, and they realize they need to top up the bank account a little bit. Maybe they had another kid. Maybe they want another
That's
expensive
fair.
vacation.
That
And
is-
they're like,
that is
okay,
absolutely
we'll bang
fair.
out 5 movies this year. Then I could take another few years off. And then when, that time comes again. Because that's Nick Cage is like famous for taking, like, that's why he's in so
Yeah.
many movies, is because he
Yeah.
just wants to bank as much money as he can. So he'll do these $1 million movie, like, shit movies that no one's heard of, just so that he can pad his bank account as much as he
fair.
wants.
Well,
It's-
he owes a lot of fucking money. He's
that's
dirt
part of it.
fucking
Yeah,
poor.
exactly.
Okay.
So some of them have to balance it out that way, I assume. So that's that, and I think some of them just they have like a little bit of a resurgence in a sense. They get a good agent, or they just find the right roles again, if that makes sense. But
That's fair, yeah.
it's hard to say because some of these, like, so many actors will go different routes with it. Some of them will just take time off. Some will go do theater, and it's like, yep, you don't hear from them for a few years because we don't. Well, I don't want to speak for you two. I don't keep track of Broadway and the theater.
Yeah. Theater. Okay,
That was my attempt at being pretentious.
So I'm looking at Eternity's Gate right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the fuck I didn't hear about this. It's got Willem Dafoe, obviously.
Yeah.
It's got Oscar Isaac. Mads Mikkelsen's in it. Or
Nice.
Mikkelsen. Like,
Mikkelsen. Yeah.
yeah, Mads Mikkelsen. How have I never heard of this movie?
Yeah.
Like,
This is another
I'm
one.
gonna,
of
I'm
those
gonna
ones we were talking
forget
about.
and move totally past the fact that Willem Dafoe's up for lead actor. How the fuck have I never heard of this movie?
Yeah. this
How are
is-
actors up for things and things that people don't know about? Like, we have a movie podcast, and I don't know about these things. How can these people be getting awards?
It's the Hollywood bubble, right? It's the
man.
academies. It's the people who work in the industry are the ones who are nominating each other. So it's like, well, that's where you get into this weird thing because, like, obviously they're a little bit more in the know for some.
Yeah.
Well, not in the know, but they're able to see all these things because they're Los Angeles was never left out of the where screenings
Yeah.
are appearing, right?
That's one of the things I don't like about seeing seeing Rami Malek up here for Bohemian Rhapsody, or seeing the story of Bohemian Rhapsody, because a lot of it is just we have to take them at their word. Like we all know, and we've talked about it, how Bohemian Rhapsody they twisted a lot of shit and they added
Yeah.
stuff to the story just to do it because they fucking can.
I heard an expression today for that. It was like fantasy biopic or something like that, like fantastical biopic or something like that.
Yeah, where they're just trying to fucking sell tickets.
Yeah. Well, and they're
Like-
trying to like clean up the history a little bit, leave
Yeah.
out the bad stuff, turn up some
Emphasize the bad shit. Like, that's what intrigues me.
yeah, that's what I want to
Like,
know about them. being
we
in
all know
fights.
that famous people are nuts. Tell me about it, okay?
Yeah, that's what we want to see.
Is Mick Jagger nice?
No.
No. Not funny. Famous people are weird as shit. Your suspicions are correct. Anyways, I would have to say for my guess for this one, again, I want Christian Bale to win it. I fucking feel like Bradley Cooper's gonna get it, and I'm gonna be bummed as shit.
Even though Bradley Cooper's a cool dude.
Bradley Cooper could be the coolest dude ever. I don't want him to win because of this.
That's fair. I kind of
Okay,
know what you mean. I
It's
don't
kinda-
know why,
it's
but
kinda
I'm
miraculous
against
that
A
if he
Star Is
wins
Born.
this- Yeah. Like, it's kind of miraculous if he wins this with his deviated septum, like having overcome that. But Like,
they should send Adam Scott up there to
to
accept the
it.
award.
Like, I want to see Christian Bale win it for Vice, because this guy went above and beyond, and like doing what he did to his body. Like, if for no other reason, that's fucking worth it. Just like I feel like Gary Oldman deserved it for The Darkest Hour last year.
That's fair.
After like his portrayal of what's his name, the guy with the place with
Churchill.
the thing, Churchill. Yeah, that guy.
The guy with the.
But at the same time, Viggo Mortensen
World War
was
II was the
fantastic.
thing.
Yeah.
Or was
England
that the place? Okay. I was just double checking. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. World War II was the thing. England was the place.
Just getting my nouns straight.
Yeah. Like, I want to see Viggo Mortensen win it, though. I don't want to see Bohemian Rhapsody win it again. But again, I don't want to see that movie win anything, because fuck that movie. I don't want to see Bradley Cooper win it in that role. And I've never even heard of At Eternity's Gate, so I can't vote for that one. So it's either Vice or Green Book.
I'm going with Willem Dafoe just as the underdog, because we've never heard of it. I've never even seen a poster for it. But
Willem
Dafoe! He was a cool Green Goblin.
Willem.
I'm going for Legacy Oscar for him.
Yeah. Next up with lead actress.
So I haven't seen any of these movies either, but I don't like Melissa McCarthy, so
Well, are you going to ask her if she can ever forgive you?
I'm not going to ask her, because I don't ever want to talk to her.
See, I feel like she's a cool person. It's just, and I've mentioned it before, I feel like she's typecast into a specific type of role.
But I don't like that
And
role, and I feel like that's her person.
Her role is dangerously close to being the equivalent of Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm gonna put my money on. Yeah. Smart call.
Yeah.
Scott, who are you leaning towards?
Well, first of all, we should probably list it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
fair.
not even
Craig,
going to
take it
try
over.
to pronounce the lead actress from Roma. I apologize, but I refuse to butcher anybody's name. Glenn Close in The Wife, Olivia Colman in The Favorite, Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born, and Melissa McCarthy in Can You Ever Forgive Me?
So I think the favorites, like from the buzz I've heard, are Glenn Close and Lady Gaga.
That makes sense to me.
I want Glenn Close because she was in Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, that's how I make decisions.
Honestly, I was gonna say I want Patty Hughes to win it
Yeah.
because
will
that's
mess
Glenn
you
Close
up.
from Damages.
Well, that's fair. I still haven't gotten to
So
Damages.
same person, different
Yeah.
things. Yeah. So we
So
we
wait,
have
do we have a
justified reasons.
consensus on one of
We
these?
want
finally?
her to win for things that weren't what she's nominated for.
Well, we did see her.
I support it.
I'm gonna
I
say
support
this
it.
is all just legacy awards we're giving because we haven't seen most of the things these people have been in.
Yeah, not for the lead actress stuff. Anyways, I don't even know if that says anything about us. But I've never heard of Roma. I never heard of The Favorite. And honestly, up until this point, I don't think I've ever heard of Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Yeah, that one I did not heard of
Like,
until
A Star
this
Is
award
Born
stuff.
is the only one I've seen there. And like, just based off of things that I know exists, I'd have to say Lady Gaga. But fuck that. I want to give it to Glenn Close. I think Lady Gaga is going to get it. I think lately she's built up enough steam
Yeah, I know
being
what you
all
mean.
over social media and
It
people talking
seems-
about her.
It seems like
Like,
people
it's-
want to just give it to her.
It
for,
seems pushed towards her.
Yeah.
But
Seems
I
like
want
the
Glenn Close
public
to
have
get it.
decided it, or like
Yeah.
the society has come to a consensus on it already, and it's like, well,
It's like, I think
still have
Black
to vote.
Panther's going to win. Like, I think that one's going to win Best Picture. Just because at this point, like, all the talk that's been about it being the greatest movie ever made, it's going to.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's our generation's version of, what was the one with Rosebud? Citizen Kane.
Oh, I was gonna
That's
say
the movie I was thinking.
Titanic
might be
was
too-
considered to be a pretty gigantic movie.
Man, fuck Titanic. Movie shit. Anyways, moving on to supporting actor. This is a good one.
Yep.
I like Sam Elliott. That mustache alone
What
deserves
an
things. For
award.
him and A Star Is Born, we got. I'm not going
Mahershala.
to attempt this. Yeah, that guy, Ali from Green Book.
I only know that because he was in Luke Cage.
There we go.
That's the only reason I know is how to
Yeah,
pronounce his name.
he's in the season 3 of True Detective. He's awesome.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Adam Driver in Black Klansman.
I like Adam Driver.
Richard E. Grant in Can You Ever Forgive Me? And Sam Rockwell in Vice.
See, this one's a tough one for me because A, I haven't seen any of these, but B,
there's multiple legacy picks.
Exactly, because Sam Elliott was in Iron Man 2. Adam Driver's obviously in Star Wars, and Sam Elliott, and then Mahershala Ali was in Luke Cage.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, well,
he's from that truck commercial.
He's in whether it was Dodge or Ford, I'll never remember, but he's in one of them or both.
Ram tough.
It's Dodge because Dennis Leary does Ford.
Fair, that's fair. I just can never remember because as soon as those commercials come on at theaters, I'm just like, why did I pay $20 to be shown advertisements and
for
delay the movie?
45 different vehicles.
It's like, motherfucker, if I had this vehicle to get here,
I wouldn't be here.
I would have come to this earlier show.
Afford a brand new Kia Forte if I can't afford the popcorn.
Exactly. Oh man,
So true.
so true.
I don't think they make the Forte anymore. But that wasn't the point.
Another tangent, and I'll get back on. When that car existed, I always wanted to see a Chicago Bears themed Kia Forte commercial. You know, where they were doing like weird shit like in their commercials at the time, where it's like, oh, this isn't my Forte, but that is. Like, I would have liked to see like a guy just like in the, I was gonna call it the cockpit, in the driver's seat, like feeling the steering wheel and like just like enjoying the inside of the car. And they come outside and like a smoking hot chick walk up and talk to the guy in the car like, oh, is this your car? And you'd be like, oh no, this isn't my Forte, but that is. And then just point to like Matt Forte like trying on a suit or something like that, or just like talking to someone crossing the road in his Bears jersey. I would have shit my pants for that commercial. That has nothing to do with supporting actors, who I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give mine to Sam Rockwell.
Okay.
Because he nailed it as W. But I'm going to give an honorable mention to that name you said, Ali.
Mahershala.
That one, Ali. I don't know if it's worse that I'm not even willing to attempt to pronounce it, or that I'm afraid to say it wrong and offend somebody.
No, I understand. Like, I only feel confident in saying it because I've heard it said so many times in videos that I'm like,
okay.
I'm fairly certain that's how it's said. But we all know my pronunciation's never accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Cottonmouth in Green Book.
Nice. I think I'll agree with you on that one because I liked his role and he wasn't in that long enough. So just give him a legacy one for this movie I didn't see. Plus,
supporting
True Detective.
actress.
Let's throw that in there.
There we go. Supporting actress. Amy Adams in Vice. Marina de Tavira in Roma. Regina King in If Beale Street Could Talk. I've heard of that. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of that one. So I've heard of two on this list at least.
That's good.
And then Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz in The Favorite.
See, I feel like it's got to go to The Favorite just because, well, it's got two.
It's got two?
I'm just going
but how do you
here.
justify who it goes to?
Rock, paper, scissors. Or if you're going by my kind of weird system, it's the one who's been in the MCU and or anything else, and she was in, Spider-Man, so she was Gwen Stacy, so Emma Stone, that is.
Yeah,
I don't know if Rachel Watts has been anything. Well, that's she's in a comic book movie, I mean, so... So that counts. Plus, she was also in Birdman, which I really liked, and I don't remember if that won an Oscar or not. So again, legacy. I'm throwing it at Emma Stone just cause.
See, I'm going the opposite. I'm giving it to Rachel Weisz.
Okay.
Because she was in The Mummy, and I crushed
90s Mummy?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's her. Okay, now I know who she is. I didn't know who she was before.
Hardcore on her as a kid.
I understand that.
So that she gets my legacy pick.
That's fair. Well, see, now this
I also want to give it to Regina King
because she was in The Mummy, and that's a very big legacy pick. That was there before the MCU or any comic book movies.
The legacy of legacies.
Oh, this is a tough one.
But I'm going to rescind my Rachel Weisz, and I'm going to give it to Regina King because I know she's an amazing actress, and I feel like she's going to kill it. I've seen her body of work. I know what she can do, and she terrifies me.
That seems like a very good reason. Craig, what did you think?
I'm going to recuse myself from these ones since I have no opinion on any of it.
I thought so. I thought that's your opinion on most of these.
That's been my opinion on almost all of it.
Yeah, that's why I was going ridiculous with my picks.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah, because I don't know anything. Like, I couldn't even tell you
That's
what
fair.
any of these people look like, to be completely honest with you. Like, if you showed me pictures of them and said, name these actresses, I would have been like, I don't know.
That's fair.
You'd be like that
I've gotten
cutaway in
2
Family
out of
Guy where
3.
they talk about Bryce Dallas Howard and the other one that kind of looks like her, and like Carter's going blind because he needs cataract surgery.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, Daddy, that's Bryce Dallas Howard. You are blind. And then ends up being Carrot Top.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah.
That is it.
Okay, so are we going to move on? Are we going to talk directors? Because I only recognize Spike Lee from this list.
That's the only one I know too. So I was like, I guess it's Spike Lee.
Unanimous Spike Lee, my man.
It's going to be the agreement. Yep.
And I definitely could only pronounce one other of these names on this list.
Is
that
it
Yorgos
Pavel
Lanthimos?
Pavlowski?
Either of those sound like things I've ever been able to pronounce in my life? Anything with a
That
ski at
definitely
the end?
Well,
That
the guy
definitely
who
seems like a movie that definitely needs to be associated with a Cold War movie.
the guy that directed Cold War is Polish, I'm pretty sure.
That
So
would make
those
sense,
those
yeah.
those W's are just V's. Like,
Yeah.
That's fair.
Or Yorgos
doesn't help me.
Lanthimos. Alfonso Cuarón. Okay, moving on to animated
we
features.
completely skipped the easy one, Adam McKay.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the one I could.
Honestly, it was too Americanized white. Not worth it. We're not going to talk about it.
That's fair.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to Google that now and make sure that I
Adam
didn't shit the
McKay.
bed.
Adam McKay's not a guy you don't think he is.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Americanized.
Thank you for saying that in a very
Americanized white. And nope, he's pretty much exactly what you think.
Yeah, that is the definition of what I meant. Harry Potter glasses, white guy with some stubble, gray. Yeah, that is exactly what I meant. I stand by it now.
He's got a pretty good body of work. Co-wrote, has a comedy partnership with Will Ferrell, with whom he co-wrote the films Anchorman, Talladega Nights, and The Other Guys.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so I give credit to like 2 of those as being decent movies, as long as he's not credited with like Step Brothers, because
co-founded
Vice? Vice isn't a comedy, is it?
No.
I didn't think so. So, like, a lot of his big things were, like, well, what you listed at least were a lot of comedies. So,
He co-founded Funny or Die. He's an executive producer on Drunk History.
this is a big kind of change for him with Vice being, from what I understand, more of a historical.
it was like a weird combination.
Okay.
Like it was like some jokes here and there, but also like
He wrote The Big Short.
I'm a fucking badass.
Wrote The Big Short, produced and directed Vice. Wrote
The
on
Big Short was
Ant-Man.
great.
What
That's
else
why
did
his name sounds familiar to me. I just
Yeah.
assumed I had heard his name before because I'm like, well, it's a very generic name.
I think you were thinking Sean McVay, head coach for the
Oh,
LA Rams.
yeah, because I would know that.
wrote a bunch of Saturday Night Live episodes.
Who didn't write a bunch of Saturday Night Live episodes?
I wrote a
Let's
bunch
be
of
real.
Saturday Night Live,
No,
Yeah.
that's not true.
Live episodes. You can't prove that.
Yes, we can. There's such things as credits. Your name would be in them.
Uncredited.
Not funny.
He directed a bunch of stuff. A bunch of Saturday Night Live episodes. Anchorman.
We directed a bunch of Saturday Night Live
No, we
episodes.
didn't do
Get to
that.
your point.
Again, definitely not.
Big Short. The Big Short keeps coming up. I love that movie.
That's a great movie. That's actually like
All
one of my
right,
favorite.
I'm going to change my pick. I'm gonna pick Adam McKay.
Of course you are.
You didn't have
'cause
a pick
the-
before.
I did. I agreed with Spike Lee because it was the only name I recognized.
Okay, I missed that.
I'm sticking with Spike Lee.
The Big Short is my favorite movie, so I'm gonna have to go with.
That's fair.
McKay on this
I
one.
like how you're kind of going with my system now to give these awards. Legacy / not really.
Yeah.
So animated feature then, because I can actually speak to one of these movies.
So if Spider-Man
My-
Into the Spider-Verse doesn't win it, then
Yeah, I
really
want
upset,
to. I want to
'cause it
see
has to.
Incredibles. I want to see Incredibles 2 win it because that's a legacy pick for me.
Oh,
But
That is something I've literally been waiting for
There's
since the
nothing-
5th grade. However, just based off of the animation style and how that was groundbreaking and how they're trying to like trademark that style as being like theirs, it's got to be Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, right? Like, it
Oh, yeah.
has to be.
It's-
Regardless of story, regardless of actors and actresses that they brought in to, like, do it, regardless of quality, just the animation alone. Like, it's got to be that one.
Well, I think it goes beyond. I think a lot of those things you listed, though, go into why it also is the best of those ones, too. From what I heard. Like I said, I haven't seen any of the other ones, but there's a reason I didn't see most of these other ones, because I'm like, I'll watch
Because I've never
Incredibles
heard of Mirai and Isle of Dogs. I saw, like, it's a Wes Anderson movie. That's why I never saw it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, he's not my favorite type
No.
of filmmaker. I don't particularly enjoy any of the
I
movies
just
he's
watched an
made.
episode of Family Guy where they kind of shit on Wes Anderson movies. So
They're just not for me, even though I did that
That's
to
because
like one of them.
everybody does. Wes
That's
Anderson's
true.
very easy to pick on.
That makes sense.
But no,
It's because his fucking name is Wes Anderson.
They've got a style to them,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
they feel
Like I
like-
think I liked he did a
Like, they
hotel
want to
one,
be
right?
Wallace and Gromit, and then they aren't Wallace
I mean, the
and
guy
Gromit.
lives in Paris, for crying out loud.
No comment.
That's
Yeah, I was
exactly
gonna say, take of that what you
it's
will.
exactly what you think it is.
Make of it.
I've never been to
that is
Paris.
the-
I can't speak. I didn't join you guys on the Euro trip.
Saying the guy lives in Paris is like me saying Adam McKay is a Americanized white guy name.
Yep.
You know what we mean. But Incredibles 2 gets my legacy pick. I think it's going to be Spider-Man. It has to be Spider-Man.
I think so too.
But Incredibles 2 gets my legacy pick.
I'll be watching that this weekend because it just got added to Netflix.
Incredibles 2?
Yeah, today.
Tight.
That
I
is-
don't even think
that
I
means
ever
I get
bought
to
it on-
watch it.
Yeah, they both
It's-
that got added today. Yeah.
Elastigirl is a badass. Anyways, moving on to animated shorts. I've only ever seen Bao.
That
Bayo?
one was-
Is that
that's
the-
a Canadian
That's the-
production, and it's
Yeah,
set
takes place in Toronto.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the one about the little dumpling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought so. I heard
Ooh,
about the
I've
controversy around that.
I've seen that one too.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
the
just because of
Incredibles 2
controversy
one.
around it. Yeah.
And that one gets my pick because I know of it. That is it.
Yeah,
Adopt a
I don't
screenplay.
know any of the other ones.
That sound about fair? Is that reasonable?
Yeah. Yep. That's why I was trying to move us on.
What
Anyone comment?
what makes an adapted screenplay?
I believe that means that there was a source material that it was
That
adapted
is-
from.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense considering the next one up that
Is
we're going to talk
is
about, the
original
final one, is
screenplay.
original screenplay.
All right.
Okay, so adapted screenplay, I refuse to give it to A Star Is Born. I don't want to see a movie that's a fucking remake of a remake of a remake get the adapted screenplay Oscar. Get the fuck out of here.
That's a very
Like-
actually fair argument, I think. 'Cause it's
Like,
like, well, it's already
if-
been done a
if-
few times.
yeah,
Like, what did they adapt?
If you make 4 different batches of chocolate chip cookies and you've managed to tinker with it and perfect it, you don't deserve a fucking award for that. It took you forever. You weren't just like bam. You know,
Unless
you don't
it's
get
really
you don't get
good.
credit for being like nailing it. No, I refuse to fucking give it to A Star Is Born. They can suck on my nipple. No way. I
I-
refuse to give it to them.
Agree with your reasoning, but I don't like your analogy.
Okay, let's remix the analogy, okay? You don't get to have 4 kids and then have 3 of them fuck up and then have one who's
Get
great
the
and
parenting
only
award,
take and
get-
only yeah,
Get
exactly.
the parenting award for the last one. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's a little
Is-
closer.
Is this an analogy we can get behind?
That is better. That's better than
Because
because
you described my childhood?
Well, you weren't number 4, so
oops.
awkward.
No comment.
Well, that was the favorite. That was
it's
my
better.
point.
It's better
That's
than
fair.
the
That's fair.
better than the cookie analogy. That's for sure. Because
Much better.
plenty of things are perfected and then win awards. Wines, beers.
That's fair.
Cooking.
That's fair. I accept that. We're going to roll with the kid analogy. Give me my Oscar for my second try to adapt it. Best adapted analogies. We made it work. But just for that alone, like you can't win adapted screenplay if it's another version of another movie of another movie.
What if those other movies didn't do nearly as good as this one, which makes this the best version?
I don't give 2 shits about the other movies. Like if you took The Dark Knight, you know, one of the one that people bust their nut to superhero movie wise, and you make the second version of The Dark Knight, you remake that movie, it doesn't get the adapted screenplay award. Like, it doesn't deserve it. You're just remaking a movie that already exists. I can't sign off on it. I refuse. No way. I gotta say Black Klansman.
That's fair.
Because again, I've never heard of Can You Ever Forgive Me. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs was mediocre at best.
Yeah, I
haven't watched that yet.
Give it to that.
I like the Coen brothers. We did a whole episode dedicated to that.
Yes, we did.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs just flat out doesn't deserve it. And if Beale Street Could Talk, I didn't see it. I'm sure it was amazing, but I got to give it to Black Klansman because I know of that one. I've seen it. It's Spike Lee.
No objection from me.
There we go. Cool.
Original
Is
screenplay.
this consensus?
I already put my input in there.
Yeah.
It's fair.
So our final topic we're going to talk about is original screenplay.
So
What do you
too
guys
many
think?
to go through all of them.
Okay, so we got The Favorite by Deborah Davis and Tony McNamara. First Reformed.
Which is the first time this one's shown up on this list of things.
Yeah, yeah.
Still haven't heard.
Paul
First time I've
Paul
heard of
Schrader.
it. I've heard of him.
Green Book, Nick Vallelonga, Brian Curry, and Peter Farrelly. Roma by Alfonso Cuarón, and Vice, Adam McKay, which is still an Americanized white guy name. What do you guys think?
I'm rolling with my pick. Every time Adam McKay's on the list, I gotta go with it.
It's between him and Green Book for me. Like, Green Book really, like, I love that fucking movie.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I don't think
didn't
it got
see the
enough.
movie.
I don't think it got enough.
I think I know
credibility.
I think I
I
know the
don't-
concept, but I just didn't see the movie.
I don't think it rolled enough.
That's fair.
You know, like to get enough. Like, it didn't gain enough momentum. I don't think to win this one. So I'm gonna go with Vice. But I'm leaning so heavily on that movie so far.
So I'll pick
Although I
Green Book
didn't-
just for that reason.
Yeah,
Well, that
I
and
know
I know
if-
the two actors in it.
that's fair. That's fair. But I'm torn. I'm gonna look up this First Reformed movie. Just take a quick gander at it.
Yeah, give us a read of its summary.
Let's see. It gave me a 2017 movie, and that doesn't sound right. It is. It's a fucking like First Reformed on it's 2017 on IMDb. That can't be right.
They might just not have adjusted the
Ah,
production.
it's got Ethan Hawke in it. Okay, and Amanda Seyfried, Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
be
This one
interesting.
isn't getting my pick. That is a very mixed up cast that I do not understand. I'm gonna give it to Green Book.
No objection here.
Boom. Because Roma does. I don't know what the fuck Roma is. I can't give it to that. And I've never heard of The Favorite. Although I like the name McNamara. Reminds me
You
of a
mean
John
Jake
Mulaney joke.
McNamara?
Jake McNamara, yeah. Someone shit on my dad's computer. So I do believe that is the end of us discussing our Oscars because the rest of them, we don't know enough about it to talk about, guys.
Yeah, what do I know about
You don't know
Harry
anything about best documentary short?
No, like, original song is probably the closest thing I could come up with an argument for.
Well, see, I was thinking visual effects maybe. an easy
Makeup
one.
and hair.
Well, yeah, I was thinking you technically could cover that one.
Yeah, but you guys can't have an argument.
That's true. That's what I was thinking. Like, I got no.
Visual effects.
I never noticed
visual
wigs.
effects. Avengers: Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Wow, I don't like any of those picks, to be honest with you.
Don't even think about it. Just whatever your heart says. Avengers: Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man,
My heart says
Ready Player
Infinity
One,
War.
Solo.
My heart says Infinity War just because I want two MCU movies to have Oscars.
No, bad Scott.
Well, then I have to pick Solo.
I'm okay with that too, though, because I'm like, okay, I'll give a Star Wars movie another Oscar, even though I think
Yeah,
they've got a few for visual effects and sound design before, but I'm cool with that.
Part of me wants to say Ready Player One, but that's basically a fucking animated movie. So I'm gonna go with Christopher Robin
That's fair. I will.
Yeah, I didn't
because
see that
I
one, so I
like
didn't know.
I like the movies where it's a person with an animated character.
Yeah.
And just Ewan McGregor nails it, acting like he's holding a fucking like a teddy bear's hand. Because the teddy bear looks real, it's not real, it's animated.
Yeah.
Or CGI'd in, which is fucking animated to me. So,
It's the same thing, really.
yeah. Okay, original song.
Oh, we're gonna do that
All
one
the
too, okay.
Stars from Black Panther.
I think I know.
I'll
what that
Fight
is.
from RBG. What's RBG? Do you guys
I don't know. Is that see? There's so many random movies.
Shallow from A Star Is Born, and When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings. The Ballad of Busker Scruggs has got a fair amount of notice lately,
Yeah.
like costume design. Ballad of Busker Scruggs. Okay, I'm gonna say it's going to A Star Is Born. Like,
Yeah, that seems like
it's
we're-
going there.
I don't. And I think
it
that's
would
kind
either
of
be between-
appropriate.
Yeah,
It's a movie about people singing. I would hope it would win a song award.
like the Mary Poppins song, "The Place Where Lost Things Go."
That
I liked
doesn't
that
sound very
movie. It was a
memorable.
cute song. It's not. It definitely didn't gain enough momentum. There's like it's
Does not
not
sound like a
anything that
spoonful
the
of sugar.
recency bias would affect. Or it's gonna be Black Panther. Like it's gonna be one of the two, and I'm leaning more towards Lady Gaga because she was the actress in the
Yeah.
movie, and I feel like that's gonna lean heavily on it, as opposed to being a background song. It's a song that's actually like sung in the movie.
No, I agree. That's I think that one will probably be two. But yeah, I haven't heard any of these songs. So.
That's fair. That's fair. But I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Best foreign language film. Roma
I can't
in
even
Mexico.
speak any other languages. I barely speak English.
Yeah. That is one tidbit of information right there, my friend.
Timbit.
Callbacks.
That's a good callback. That's one of our highest quality callbacks.
Speaking of high quality, I want to know what high quality H2 view you guys did this week on WWWTW.
WWWTW. You want to start, Scott? Get you rolling early.
Yeah, I can start early. So what did I watch this week? I watched Gotham by Gaslight. That's the Batman.
And
I liked it. It was good.
so good.
I did not see the ending coming
No,
until close to
no.
the end, to be honest. And then I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. And then it turns
It's
out that
super
way.
obvious
Yeah,
in
once you get
retrospect.
that, yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, you just don't want it to be that way. Is all it comes
it's
down to.
Jim Gordon, right? You're like,
Yeah.
he's the man. And honestly, every incantation of Jim Gordon I see in the comics, the cartoons, like I just picture an animated version of Gary Oldman because he was just so
Yeah,
cool.
he did fit it. He does. It's true, and I think that was the first time like his like in a movie he like stuck out to me as like a character. You know what I mean? Because in the '90s
Yeah.
Batman's ones, I think I know who it was, but it's also like, well, I'm not 100% sure because that guy popped in and out a couple times, and he literally just said, "Oh, Batman." I don't know if I'm getting the mayor mixed up with the
Wait, are you talking about like the animated one?
no the '90s movies.
Like the live action? Yeah. Commissioner Gordon was the big tubby ditz.
Okay, I thought so.
Okay,
And-
do you remember in Batman and Robin, he's like standing up on top of the building with the bat light with
Yeah.
Poison Ivy. He's like,
Yeah, no,
and that's exactly what he
that's
does.
what I mean,
That's
yeah.
Commissioner Gordon.
And
Yeah.
that's why he never stuck out to me in those movies.
because
at
he was
all.
a useless tool.
Yeah, exactly. He
Whereas
wasn't quite the
Gordon was a
awesome
fucking badass.
character. Yeah, especially in the animated series, he was awesome.
Yeah,
and then we get him
literally,
as Gary Oldman. It's
Literally every other thing I've seen Gordon in, ever,
yeah.
he's been a fucking badass. Except for those fucking 90s movies, man. He was
Yeah.
just so goddamn useless.
I will grant you that. I love those movies, but they did not do Gordon any good. But anyways, yeah, I
No.
liked Gotham by Gaslight. It was a cool Elseworlds one. The
Yeah.
DC animateds, as we've said many times, are the best. You can't say anything bad about them. They're pretty much just a comic book brought to life.
Yeah.
I love the animated style of just that simplistic kind of updated version of what the Batman animated series kind of pioneered, like that animation style. And yeah, so I really dug it. What else did I watch? I watched Polar. We didn't talk about that last week, right?
Yes. No, we didn't.
Okay, I couldn't remember because me and you
Let's
have talked
talk about
it.
this.
Me and you have talked about it a bit through texting, and I freaking love this. This has been dubbed John Wick, Netflix John Wick.
Yeah.
Even though this was based on a graphic novel that was written before John Wick was out, but
Okay, let's be real. The concept behind Polar, it's been done
it's been
many
many
times before.
like
And
a
we were
Hitman
talking about
sold
it earlier, the people who are shitting on it.
Yeah.
like it's a great story where it's 1 versus 1,000. It's one guy who happens to have the skills, and he has a fucking mission to go through.
Yeah, and
Like
he just
it's
wants to
like
retire.
sure he's a fucking assassin. He's a hitman. Okay, he's not a great dude.
Yeah, and
Okay.
this is not
But-
a realistic world either. It's like this
No.
is a world where there's a business, like a corporation of assassins, and they have a retirement plan. So it's
Yeah, like it's bullshit.
like if you want to like be like, oh, the story doesn't make sense. It's like, well, no, you have to accept that this is a world where there's an assassin corporation, and they give their employees retirement plans. Like,
Yeah, there's like they're a fucking registered 401k
exactly.
for murderers.
It's ridiculous, but that's the premise they set to you right off the bat, and you just have to you have to accept that or you don't. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people aren't accepting that, and it's like, well, if you don't accept that, you shouldn't watch any of the movie because
Yeah.
that's what
yeah.
the movie's
If you don't
based off
accept
of.
that, then you can't honestly watch any of the John Wick movies and accept that
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
true, 'cause
hotel
John Wick's just-
exclusively set aside for fucking criminals.
Yeah.
Like
John Wick's
get
just
outta
more
here.
subtle with the stuff. That's what I think the difference
Yeah.
really is. This one's really in your face.
It embraced it. Yeah,
This is like crank in your face kind of like action
Yeah,
and
the
violence.
energy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe where people have a little bit of that, like, because a lot of what I saw is like, oh, it had too much sex and nudity, and I'm like, well, that happens in certain movies. You know what I mean? It's like that's just
Have you ever watched like a medium budget
Anything from the
bullshit
70s?
fun action movie? Yeah,
Like,
like
any
Have
movie
you ever
from the
watched a
70s?
James Bond movie?
yeah.
That dude just pulls. He pulls, man, for no reason. There's
Exactly.
no reason for most of James Bond's sex other than high libido.
And in this movie, all the sex is just. It was to the point of the story for the most part. It was, oh yeah, they're gonna distract this
Yeah.
person before killing
Susie
him.
or whatever her name was like, yeah, I'm gonna bang you, so you're not out there looking for stuff using your eyes because you are the best. You're the
Yeah.
Black Kaiser.
She's just, it's purely sex as a distraction, and it's like, well, if you don't accept that that's literally what it's being used for, and not that it's just sex for the point of just
Yeah,
in a movie for just, oh, I want to film
Yeah.
sex. It's like, well, no, he can do that. He could go do porn. Like the director can go do porn. Like that's
he
not what
wanted,
he's
yeah.
stopping you from doing, right? So it's like,
No.
it was part of the story. It's like, oh no, these assassins know that this retired assassin has these skills, and the only way to surround him and get the jump on him is to distract him with sex.
like
But
he
doesn't
literally
work.
runs through the woods in the middle of a snowstorm,
Butt naked.
buck ass naked, and then kills a dude.
Yeah, it was
naked.
just. I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was so much better than I thought. Like I saw it and I was like, oh, I like him,
Yeah,
but I don't know if I want to watch it.
that's how I
And then
felt
you-
too.
So I started watching it, and I was like, "Fuck yes, I'm glad," because I love those styles of movies,
Yeah.
and I'll get to that with my WWWTW list. But that was an amazing movie. Anyone who rates it under like a 4.5 on Netflix, fuck you, man. The movie was good. I don't support a lot of the Netflix original movies because I feel like there's just no reason why they should have made it. It doesn't pertain to anybody. Like I like to think I'm fairly well-rounded in what I enjoy. But this is one where I'm like, no, it was a good movie. It was stupid, but it was so good.
Well, see, that's where I'll be like, I can understand why people might not like it, but it's also like, well, you have to like that type of movie to like it. You know what I mean? Like, you have
if
to
you like people dying,
yeah,
like
for no
it's a good
reason.
movie.
If you like pretty much if you liked Crank, you'll like this movie. And I'm like, I guess if that doesn't like justify it as a good movie, but more as an enjoyable one. I still think it's good, but that I guess comes down to subjective things about what I enjoyed about it. But I think people who did like say that it didn't have a cohesive story, that's where I'm like, no.
No, it did.
It did.
Right from start to finish.
It was about
It
a
starts with some stuff.
Yeah.
It ends with some stuff. There's a bunch of extra stuff, and then boom,
little bit of a
and it sets up a potential sequel.
But at the same
Okay.
time, if there's no sequel, it's like you can conclude the story in your mind, like, oh yeah, they go hunt down this person and
Yeah.
they go on their way to retiring after that. But it's like, or they can do a sequel and we can see it, which I hope they do because I enjoyed it.
Like, this is one of those things where there's no argument you could give me where I can't find a way to justify it. Like, oh, when he cuts off Bluth's head at the end and it flies out the window. Yeah, it's overly animate because it was based off of a fucking graphic novel.
Yeah, a panel
Shit
from
like
a
that
graphic
happens in
novel.
graphic novels.
Yeah.
Like,
And
this
it's-
this whole movie was a Tim Burton's wet dream.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if,
like
I've seen like panels from the comic too, and the comic is an extremely like stylized comic too. Like it's not your or graphic novel because it's not your normal one. It's literally it only uses 3 or 4 colors: black, white,
Okay.
red, and I think maybe sometimes oranges. and that's it. And it's all
kind of like the cover art for it, where it's like black, blue,
Yes.
like pink and purple.
Exactly.
Like
and I guess I'm assuming that's where they take it from. It's from the graphic novel. I haven't read it yet. I've just seen some panels online for it when I was like looking to buy it actually. But yeah, no, I think that's like just people are just missing that some of the elements of the movie are trying to play homage to the comic or to the graphic novel. And graphic novels and comics are the same thing. Graphic novels are just long comic books. But anyways, yeah, Polar's great. Anyways, what else did I watch? I've been watching Z Nation season 5. It got added to Netflix last week, like Friday or something like that. And it's got 13 episodes. I've just been making my way through it. I got like 1 or 2 more. Z Nation is my favorite zombie show ever. Only one I watch. The only one I like. It's great. Why? Because it's ridiculous, almost on the same level that Polar is, but with like zombies. But it also has like a great kind of story that they're always trying to like solve these different mysteries or like accomplish these missions through each season, and that's what keeps me in. / I just love the cast. Like the cast, just this, ridiculous group of just random people. What's his name's in it? What's the new guy? What's his name? It's something Q, or never mind. That's not important. Point is I really like Z Nation. I think this might be the last season, sadly. But I hope not. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then after that, I just watched my normal stuff: The Flash, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., etc. What did you guys watch?
Do you want to take this one, Craig?
I can go ahead. So, kind of a light week. Kind of not. I finished the Fire documentary.
Right.
And how was that? Did it end the way we assume?
Obviously, the back half is nowhere near as interesting as the front half.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't even say it was worth like 9 stars. It was worth like 3 or 4.
I don't know, actually. I enjoyed it. I'm not watching it again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who rewatches documentaries?
I watched. There's this documentary called "The Barkley Marathons: The Race That Eats Its Young," and I watched that documentary once through, and I immediately started it again.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like that is such a good documentary.
All right. Well,
Highly recommended. If you want to watch people feel like they're gonna die for an entire hour and a bit,
oh God,
they're running.
You really did just get right. What was it called again?
It's called the Barkley Marathons: The Race That Eats Its Young. It's about an endurance. This isn't even what I watched this week, but we're gonna talk about it. It's about an endurance race in the wilderness in Tennessee that these guys put on.
Oh, is that the 1,000-mile one?
It is something like that. The concept is that you do 4 circuits of their track, which no one knows until the year that it's run. You can't enter through a normal way. You have to kind of get invited.
Yeah.
If you can find the entry, then you're there, and thousands of people enter, but only so many get allowed to come. And you run it once, and so they give you the map. You have to take the map yourself.
Okay.
And then they you have to make your own version of it because there's only one map.
Oh.
So that you know where you're going, because you have to go to certain checkpoints along the way to make sure that you've done the whole race. And then they give like a warning that says we can start anytime within this 12-hour gap. And then they give a 1-hour warning right before the race starts. It can be at any time in that 12-hour gap, middle of the night, first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Everybody starts. You run the race. When you get back, your time stops. And you can start again at any time. But then, so everybody runs it one direction. Then everybody runs it backwards.
Okay.
And then I think it's 3 times. Or it's 3 or 5 times. I can't remember. But the last one, you get to choose which direction you run it in. And the first person to finish it is the winner. And there have been years without finishers.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. It's a good documentary.
What was this called?
It's called the Barkley Marathons: The Race That Eats Its Young. I think it's on Amazon.
Is that where you watched it?
It was on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. It comes up when you Google it.
Yeah. It's a good documentary. There isn't any kind of narration, no sit down and like interview really, except for right at the beginning. The rest of it's just all raw footage pretty much.
I'm always down to check out those different ones because I just love seeing humans suffer.
It's fascinating. Kind of makes you want to like think, can I do this? And you like,
Yeah.
no. People who do this, like who run marathons on a regular basis, can't finish this stupid race.
Oh yeah, no. I've heard about these like endurance, like these crazy ultra endurance things, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, no. I can't do anything for that amount of time. Literally nothing can I do for the amount of time you have to run one of those races for.
Yep, it's hours. It's like a couple days.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'd go insane. Like, I would actually go insane just running. I can't run around the block without being like, I'm bored.
Well, the nice thing is that it's more like a hike.
That's fair.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not like
It's not a run on a track or through a city.
That's true,
It's in the middle of nowhere. No established trails. Nothing.
Yeah, you're just going through just hiking through the brush.
Exactly. Up hills, down hills, craziness. So I watched that. I didn't watch that.
No,
I
you
watched
didn't watch
the fire
that.
documentary.
You watched the fire
That's what I watched. I will be watching that. I am continuing my way through Friends from College.
How far in are you?
I finished episode 4 today of
season 1.
Yeah, it's a long
Baby stepping it.
It's a long and tedious slog.
Are they hour episodes? Or 45?
No, they're 20 minutes.
Wow.
They feel longer than that.
So you guys are really it's not really
Kendall
helping
and I
them think for this.
Kendall and I finished season 2 on a date night.
I think I just don't think I'm enjoying it as much as you did.
Really? Oh man, that's disappointing.
I'm going to finish it,
Season 2 is so much better. Just start from season 2.
but I don't want to because I don't want to skip what happens in season 1. Because there's some storylines that really interest me, but there's a lot of it's like it feels like it's supposed to be a comedy, but I don't find it funny.
It's a lot more upbeat in the second season.
Okay, that's helpful
In
because
the first
it's a really depressing comedy.
In the first one, they trudge along a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with I forget his name, the rich guy, the tall white guy of the group. I forget his name. I could picture him.
Well,
He's
he's
got fucked
hardly
up
ever
teeth.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They trudge along with him, building him into a character. Marianne is fucking amazing. So funny. Sam is excellent. And like I said last week, I love what's his name? Ugh, it's gonna bug the shit out of me now. Can't remember his name.
That's fine. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Not Keegan Michael Key, the other guy.
Yeah, the other guy. Exactly. You've pretty much named everybody, you know.
Everybody, yeah.
I'm going to finish the series. It's just going to take me a long time to do it. That's all.
That's fair.
That's all.
Finish it by my birthday, my friend.
I think I might be able to do that. I started this show. It's a CBC show called Working Moms.
Sam was talking to me about
Yep,
that.
of
She
course
said
she
she
was.
loves it.
Yes, because she would relate to it.
Because she's a working mom?
Yeah, exactly. Some of us less so.
Yeah.
So while I found it entertaining, it did not quite.
It did not speak to you.
It did
Speak to
not
you as well.
quite capture the magic.
It's
the way
in my
that it-
queue because I love Canadian television.
Exactly, and it's
Like
you know,
Kim's Convenience, fantastic.
recently
That,
CBC's been hitting it pretty well. So
Bad Blood was
Have
amazing.
you guys tried? Is it? Oh no, I'm thinking CBS. My mistake. Never mind. Forget what I was about to say. Go on.
Okay then.
Well,
So-
CBS has its own app now. That's what I was gonna say, but
yeah,
that's a different one.
yeah. So I started watching Working Moms. I'll probably put it on if I'm bored.
If you're bored.
If I'm bored, yeah.
Okay.
If I don't feel like watching something so
Please-
heavy as Friends from College, but
Okay.
what else did I watch? Have you guys heard of a little program called This Is Us?
I have.
Yes.
Who hasn't really?
Yeah.
So,
Can I guess who got you into that one?
well, I mean, it's fairly obvious. It's safe to assume that everything from here on out on my list was
Female persuaded.
Girlfriend induced. Eh?
was Sam approved, really.
Sam approved or Sam forced?
No.
No comment.
I would never
no
say
comment.
I would never
No
say I was
comment.
forced into watching anything.
Well, hostages never tend to say it stuff like that.
They call it Stockholm syndrome, actually.
Yeah.
Careful, she listens to this.
She does.
Oh, she's that one person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks,
Every week.
The Sam time every week.
That was good. So
Thanks, guys.
we started watching This Is Us, and I didn't think I was gonna like it.
Mandy Moore makes everything
really
amazing.
like that show.
Mandy Moore makes everything amazing.
It sounds
always.
so depressing, though.
I know, but it kind of like it is a tiny bit, but it's really I don't know. I can't describe what
I
it
can't
is
stand
about
the
that
dad.
show.
I can't stand the dad.
You can't
Who's
really.
the dad?
Yeah, like Mandy Moore's husband. I can't fucking stand
you gotta
him.
help me. Is he like
I can't-
somebody's particular or like I don't know the show?
I don't
just,
know. I don't know the actor's name.
it's
I
just
just
a
can't stand the
character.
character. Like,
I don't know. I
he just
can't.
needs to be smacked in the jaw. Like I don't like him.
I cannot describe what I like about the show, but I like
That's
it.
fair.
and
I've got a
continue-
couple
It's
of those
Mandy
types
Moore.
of shows.
Okay,
Continue
when
to
you
watch
can't,
it.
it's Mandy Moore or it's not the Green Arrow kid. It's the other kid.
Wait, is
The
it the
guy,
Heroes guy?
the guy
that's
who's in
his-
that Hotel Artemis.
That's not helping me at all.
He played. Okay, you know the episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Jake and Holt are trying to crack the dentist, like the guy who he has his whole alibi set up perfectly, and they donate the whole episode to trying to break him, and then at the end, Jake finally gets him to crack because he tells him it was all lucky. He's like, "I planned it out, son."
No, I don't remember. But
And then Holt hits him with the "Oh damn, oh damn, oh damn." Those 3 oh dams.
I
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Clearly, I've seen that episode too many times.
Yeah.
I spaced out looking at the This Is Us cast.
He also played Prince Njobu. I think that was his name.
Oh, you're talking
From
about,
Black Panther.
You're talking about Russell.
That's the guy. I don't know names. I've only seen a
Randall.
handful of episodes.
Randall. Sterling K. Brown.
That's the guy. Love him as an actor.
Oh no, he's
And
great.
I'd
I've
probably
seen
love him
bunch
as a
of, like-
person too. You know, I'll be honest.
I've seen a
He
bunch
seems
of
like a
random
super cool
stuff.
guy.
Now that I know who you're talking about, I can see him in way more things.
See, it's funny.
Yeah, he was the dentist
Yeah.
in Brooklyn Nine-Nine in that episode.
Yeah, and now that I know which guy you're talking about, I'm like, yeah, that's the guy.
He's him.
He's the guy.
He was
There's so
Prince
many
Njobu.
dudes in here that I'm just like, I don't know who you're talking about.
It's okay. So yeah, I watched 3 episodes of This Is Us. It's good.
That's
Oh,
fair.
shit,
No, I've
he's in
heard really
Frozen
good things
too.
about it. It's just one of those
It-
shows that I'm like, why
I
do you guys
kind of-
watch stuff that makes you cry? I've never
I
understood
kind of
that about
wrote it
people.
off because it was so popular.
That's partly why I wrote it off too.
And
There's a
I'm
lot of
just
shows
that
like that.
guy.
I never gave it a shot, and then you know,
Well, in my defense, the reason I never gave it a shot was, like I said, all I heard mainly about it was that it's great, but it'll make you like cry and kind of
yeah,
like,
but that's for like other people.
It's
which I understand, but I'm just like,
Okay.
I don't need to watch
It's-
those things because I just never connect with them.
it
I'm
It's a
like,
Grey's Anatomy,
It-
is what it is. It's a Grey's Anatomy. It's mass produced. There's a lot of seasons. There's a lot of episodes. Every person of a certain vagina watches it, and they love it. You know, and there's nothing amazing about it. There's nothing perfect about it. It just sucks you in. And then you sit there and you watch it and you're like, I don't get this. This is stupid. And then all of a sudden you're 5 or 6 episodes in and you're like, okay.
what's McDreamy
it.
doing?
That's it. That's it. That's exactly how it is. It brings out your inner mangina,
See,
and there's nothing
you need
wrong
to
with
pick
that.
on like Grey's Anatomy of all of them. So that's of all like the shows that I like rail against. That's the one I've watched. And again, it was the same reason Craig started This Is Us because it was female influenced.
it was
That's
put
what
on,
I'm saying. Yeah.
and
I
I
watched
enjoyed it.
7 to 8 seasons of Grey's. So
But you guys know what I'm saying.
I
though.
do know what
Yes.
you're saying.
It's
That's-
watched by a certain. You know what I'm saying.
This Is Us, though, I would argue is well written
no, like I said, I've
That's
heard
fair.
so many good things.
in
I just-
comparison to Grey's Anatomy, which I'm not a fan of, and I'm not
which is just bland and
Yes.
gray.
ashamed of.
That's why
Oh,
they call it
Is
that.
that where they got the name from? Not the book, or
Nope.
tying it in as a crappy pun to the doctor's name.
Nope.
And yeah, anyway.
Nope.
I'm-
it's the fact that it's gray and.
See, I think you're describing things that some people just love about the show. They're like,
That's-
but it's so clever. And it's like, well, no,
That's,
it's not that
I'm-
clever.
I'm
No,
gonna, s-
it's not.
I'm
Did
gonna
you ever watch
stop.
ER? Nope.
I'm gonna stop talking about it. What else, Sam and I watched this week? Because that's pretty much what my list has become now, and I'm okay with that.
Said
We
under
watched.
duress.
We watched.
Good
Nope,
save,
nope.
good
That is 100%. When you spend a ton of time with somebody, that just ends up happening. We
Yeah,
watched
Stockholm syndrome.
the entirety of the Ted Bundy documentary.
Oh yeah.
I watched a couple episodes and I was like, the
whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm
watching it, but I'm not in love with it.
The weirdest thing I've heard, like the only thing I've heard about this so far is that people are attracted to Ted Bundy.
Yes.
And Netflix had to release like a tweet being like, hey, don't find psycho killers attractive. There are plenty of not psycho killers to obsess about.
Well, that's the same thing as that murderer a couple years ago who everyone deemed super hot, because he had like perfect complexion, he had the like chiseled jawline. He ended up becoming a model when he got out of jail because everyone loved him.
I don't think he was a murderer.
With Ted Bundy is that the reason he was so good at being a serial killer
getting away with what it was
because he was normal,
because of what he looked like.
Yeah.
That's true. I agree.
And he had charisma and charm.
Exactly. That's why. So you don't mention that you are attracted to Ted Bundy.
Because that kind of just like
ease off, Manson. Like,
you should reevaluate your own like personal security if you're like attracted to psycho killers. Because it's like, well, you might have ended up as victim if you're one of those people who found him attractive because that's what he used.
Either that or you're all about the physical and you need to evaluate yourself.
So like it was a good documentary, and I was watching it until like the last episode is his trial in Florida. After he's he's such a narcissist that he's completely messed it up, and he's in prison because of a traffic stop. Like that's how he got caught, because it's the 70s and the 80s. And
that's how it goes. So they always fuck up somewhere.
You could have, it's like the John Mulaney.
Like that guy in Toronto who.
Yeah, well, he went for a while without it, but it's like the John Mulaney joke with the Suggins gang. You could just basically you could do anything
as long as you weren't there.
There's a pool of the killer's blood in the hallway.
Gross. Mop it up.
Exactly. So then he's on trial, and he's defending himself because he's a narcissist, and I hope this isn't a spoiler alert for anybody because it happened.
Yeah, I was going to say it's history.
So if you haven't seen the documentary, I'm
spoiler,
about to
World War II,
I'm
Hitler died.
about to ruin it for you. And the spoiler is not that he was killed by electric chair.
No.
So he's cross-examining his girlfriend, and he proposes to her while she's on the stand, and she says yes. And that was when the documentary went from good to great. Because I spent 5 minutes in shock.
It's like, what? This is not the right venue to do this. Although, also kind of smart venue to do that.
Well, the judge is right there. I didn't know that, and so it kind of surprised me.
Yeah, that's
it also showed how little I actually knew about
Ted Bundy.
Yo, I know nothing.
The Ted Bundy thing. Yeah, so watch the documentary.
Well, it was before our time, right? Like,
yeah, but you know the name.
I do. Yeah. That's true. But that's it. Isn't the Zac Efron movie that's coming out also Ted Bundy?
Yeah. What a weird coincidence.
You think they
By the way,
that
that trailer is terrible. I don't know if either one of you have seen it, but that is it.
Yeah.
It looks like a good movie, and he is well cast, but that trailer is garbage.
Yeah. The way
I keep seeing all over Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, people like losing their minds over it.
Looks like I made
how
it in
can you
high
be
school.
making movies about this? And
it looks.
You made a
it
great
looks like
movie
I
in high
made
school,
it in
Craig.
high school with Windows Movie Maker. Like it, there's something slightly off about it.
Yeah. Anyways, people are losing their mind. Like, how can you make a movie about this and
how can you
and
not?
glamorize this, but not draw attention to all the people he killed and yada yada yada. I'm like, you can't make a movie about anything that ever happened in real life
not
without
anymore.
glamorizing something. Like Patriots Day, like the movie about the Boston Marathon bombing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, but that's
it's
a really good movie.
It's fantastic. It's on my WWWTW list. That's why I'm mentioning it.
I could watch that any day of the week.
Like, they kind of glamorize the pipe bomb guys. Like, it draws attention to it. If you draw attention to something, you're glamorizing it. If some guy walking down the street with his fly undone, you do a whole movie about that, you're still glamorizing the fact that his fly is done. You're drawing attention to it. And I feel like people just need to get their head out of their ass.
So I
watch movies.
Watched one more thing on my list. You guys tell me if you've ever seen this film. It stars Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas. and it was released in the 90s.
That sounds like what
It feels like an 80s movie. It looks like it was. It looks like they took the all the B-roll from Indiana Jones, and then put Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas fighting lions into it. It's a film called The Ghost in the Darkness, and it was great. But
I've not
heard
also
of it.
felt
Seen
very
this.
dated. It's based on a true story about a guy building a train bridge in Africa,
Okay.
and there these two lions or I guess it was technically three lions. And these lions, well, mostly lions will kill for food, but these ones killed for fun.
Okay.
And so they were like coming into the camp and killing people, just taking them
and then
out,
just
killing
walking
them, and
off,
then leaving them. Yeah. So that's what it's about.
You know what? I'm reading it. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. I think I have it on my.
I think
on
I've heard
my
about like the
VHS
actual
list.
story. Like, does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think I've heard a podcast about
Yeah.
what the the story it's based off of.
That makes sense. It is a crazy story, and it is a good movie, but it feels dated. So that's about the only thing that it has going against it. Because other than that, it is good.
I'm not as well. That's hard to say. Some movies, I'm like, I can't handle the dated feel of it, but it's a very fine balance, I think. Like,
Yep.
where it's like it either fits, or it's like you guys did a little too many pop culture references to the 70s, and I'm like, yeah, no, well, sorry, I wasn't around for. I don't know. I can't even see. That's like how little like I know about the 70s. I can't come up with even like some random reference that they would make.
The Energy Crisis. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
That's all I got.
Cuban Missile something.
I think that was earlier, but I don't know.
See, this is how little I know. But I know some geography.
1962 for the Cuban
There we
Missile
go.
Crisis.
Yeah,
There we go.
super
So you were
far off.
close.
Ish.
Decades close, yeah, or decade close.
You were within a lifetime. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Depends on whose lifetime. Yeah,
That's true. People died before the two of them happened at the same time. Anyway, that's not important.
Anyways.
That is what I watched this week. Andrew, what did you watch this week?
Well, I have a moderately long list for what I usually have, so buckle in. I watched Polar, as we had discussed.
Yes.
And that kind of threw me on to I need to watch one guy taking down a whole syndicate
nice.
movies. So I watched that. I watched The Equalizer,
Obviously.
which is on Netflix. And Scott, I noticed it wasn't on your list.
Yep, this is awkward. I definitely forgot about watching it on Monday.
You fucking shithead. You promised me.
I did, and
You did to
I went
me.
back on my word, and I apologize.
Good day to you, sir.
This is awkward. I'm still part of the podcast.
I said good day.
Damn it!
Anyway, so I watched The Equalizer, amazing movie, and then I translated that into watching. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Harry Brown, the Michael Caine movie,
Oh,
where
yes,
he's a
I've been wanting to watch
retired
that
Marine. I
forever.
think he's a Marine,
Yeah.
and they're in England. They're in a super slummy part of England. The guy who plays Filch in Harry Potter, his best friend, dies. He gets his ass whooped by a bunch of fucking crackhead thugs, shitheads with grills. They beat him to death and stab him with a bayonet.
Oh shit.
Granted, it was his bayonet. It was for self-defense, but he
That
did.
didn't work.
So Harry Brown was like, okay, my buddy's dead. I'm going to get my drink on after his funeral. I'm bummed. Gets totally sauced. Pays for his drink. Drops the cash all over the bar, picks it up. One of these shithead thugs sees him, okay? Follows him out of the bar and tries to jump him under a bridge beside a canal. And like pulls a knife at him, and Harry Brown's like, "What's going on?" He goes gets stabbed, and Harry Brown's like, and stabs him in the chest. Old ass Michael Caine just stabs this guy in the
I feel like
chest.
I've seen this movie.
And we watched it at Ray's one
I was
time
gonna say
after-
this feels like a
after
movie
an
that I
exam.
watched in Ray's living room.
Yep, after an exam in high school. Dies. And then right from there you're like, oh shit, he's into it. The skills are coming back.
Yeah.
So this
was
guy's
faking
dead,
being
and then he
drunk.
literally goes and he takes he goes to buy a gun, ends up killing two like crazy crackhead rapists who are raping this chick they've got all like shot up with drugs and just like, ODing on a couch, handcuffed there. He kills these two guys, takes their guns, and drops this chick off at the hospital, and then proceeds to just wipe out these drug dealing gangbangers to like clean out the city.
Right.
And I love the 1 against 1,000 story.
I'm always a fan of those.
Where it's like a guy who just happens to have skills and be fucking better than everybody.
Yep.
Especially because every one of these movies always has one guy who's just totally like overconfident and has no right to be.
Yeah.
Who dies. And that is the main antagonist in this movie is just some fucking dickhead who he thinks he's cool, he's not, and he dies. I'm like,
fuck yeah.
Right on, brother. Right on. Especially because it's the old guy too. Like you don't expect an old guy.
Oh, that's always my favorite. Retired guy just coming back and having to do shit he did for 50 years already and just showing some young punks what experience is. And I'm like, yeah, whip some experience into those fucking punks.
Well, even the movie Gran Torino, like spoilers for Gran Torino,
I still haven't watched that yet.
What's his name?
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. I take it back. I don't want to spoil it for you. It's a great movie. Watch it, and then I'll tell you what I was going to say now.
Doesn't he, curb stomp somebody?
Nope. I think you're thinking like American History X. He does not curb stomp anybody.
That's the end of that one, right? Yes. Okay.
Well, that's like the beginning of American History X.
I've never seen that one. This is something I thought I heard on a podcast. And just getting things mixed up due to, they both very racially charged movies?
Very, very.
Yeah, okay. So that's where I get them mixed up in
American
my head.
History X is very.
Well, I know that one's extremely
Aryan race.
Yeah.
One. The skinheads of the Deep South. Yeah. And then the Gran Torino one is just him versus I want to say Koreans, but that doesn't sound right. He's very anti some type of Oriental, but he ends up befriending a young kid who works for him and loves his family. So it's pretty cool. Comes around. My man.
Okay. Well,
I watched Patriots Day as I had already referenced when Craig was talking about his stuff.
Such a good movie.
Great movie.
So much better.
Every time
theaters,
I watch it,
I wish I could go back and do that again.
Well, Sam, you know what to do for his birthday. Rent out a movie theater.
Yep.
You used to work there. Pull out those hookups. Anyway, so I watched that movie. Great movie. I watched the recent episode of The Flash, and let me tell you, I hate Iris West so much.
I know. We've gone over this a few times.
And the best part is my girlfriend hates Iris West so much.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So every episode is literally us just going, shut the fuck up, Iris. Jesus.
Sometimes have to agree. I don't hate her, but I definitely
Her outfits are amazing. And I'm sure she's a nice person as an actress. I fucking hate the character.
She's a little too whiny, a little too insecure sometimes for my liking.
She's so useless. So useless.
I don't understand how she's the leader. Something like this still to this day baffles me. It's like, wait,
there's one part that Kendall loves to reference. Kendall loves to reference this part because it's literally they're in an art room arguing, and she's like, "We just need to come up with a plan." And they're arguing about the plan.
Yeah.
And you're like, Iris, shut the fuck up. You're ruining everything. And I hate that XS is just like her.
Yeah.
And yet they butt heads and just
that's
XS.
Moms and daughters for you. I do like that relationship between them too. I feel it's very realistic.
I hate it because I'm like, you're just so fucking dumb. You're so dumb.
Well,
okay.
To me, it's just
You've been told 1,000 times to stop relying on your speed. I don't care if you have super speed ADD. Stop being so dumb.
Yeah, dumb. She is pretty dumb. But yeah,
I kind of want. Kendall and I talked about this, and we want it to happen so bad. I want Ralph, and I want Caitlin to bang.
Yeah, well, I think they're leading to that.
Or I want, even better, and I mentioned this, and she was on board. I want Ralph and Killer Frost to be like a couple.
Yeah.
And have them be a couple, but then have Caitlin and Ralph be like BFFs.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Then
that would be a third, a triangle. I'd be so down for.
But it's only platonic between Caitlin and Ralph, but it's romantic with Killer Frost. No, I like
Ralph,
that too.
Ralph, he's grown on me. I like that he's not a regular
anymore.
I am
so happy that he finally grew on you because I know how much you hated him last season. I hated
him first season. He was
hated
fucking
him
annoying
so much, and I'm like, but he's just supposed to be comic relief. I like it. They're taking some of the pressure off
comic
Cisco.
Relief. I don't like any of his sidekicks.
That's fair.
I didn't like their version of Wally. He wasn't my Wally. He annoyed the shit out of me. I don't like Excess. I can't fucking stand her. Ralph, when he was the number 2 sidekick, I was like, God, no.
Now that he went to
Like-
tertiary, that's like
Yeah,
special,
now
right?
that he just pops up occasionally, I'm like, yes, you're there just the right amount, and you're really only there for emotional support.
Well, and he takes the lead sometimes.
Sometimes, but he's mainly there just to try to get his bang on with Caitlin Frost in my mind.
That's fair. For you, that's I can understand
Killer
that. That's
Frost, yes.
how you see his motivation.
Because Caitlin deserves somebody. She's had a lot of awkward relationships. She's had a lot of bad guys. She's had a lot of dudes who died.
That's
She
the part I
needs
was like,
someone.
it's not really
She needs
awkward. They
someone.
just died on her a lot of the time, or were evil.
She had two evils. One awkward evil that turned awkward, and then one dude who died. Well, two died, technically. But
And she got some bad luck.
she got bad luck. That's what I'm saying. Now we have Killer Frost hook up with Ralph. I'll be so happy. And I love
What
Daniel
if that
Panabaker.
happens, but then he gets killed off at the end of the season?
Oh man, that would be like I'd have like a sad boner, you know? I'd be like, oh man, I liked them together so much, but also Ralph kind of sucked sometimes. Anyway, so to get off of that and into stuff that Craig can care about. Kendall and I watched Psych. I got her into Psych.
Yes.
Nice.
And it's nice to have a girlfriend who's into Psych. Even Craig, you're gonna love this. I showed her the pilot.
Yep.
I told
You
her it
showed
was
her
the
the
worst
pilot?
episode. I showed her the pilot. You know how I know she's the one? Because she watched the pilot.
You didn't even skip the pilot and go back to the pilot. You went straight into
I showed
the pilot.
her the pilot. She laughed.
What?
She said she looked me in the eyes and told me, "This is funny."
Oh, that's.
And I was
great.
like, this is
'Cause
the
it just
worst
gets
episode.
better. You put your
I was like,
sunglasses
this is a-
on.
Yeah. Shouldn't you take your You put some sunglasses on. What are you guys collecting money for the policeman's balls? We don't have balls. I honestly don't know what to say. So funny.
God, I gotta restart that show.
I love that show so much.
I told her like it was the worst. She laughed, and then we watched I watched 3 more episodes. She watched 1.5. She fell asleep on the couch. I have a funny picture of her. She doesn't know about it. Moral of the story is she likes Psych, and I'm fucking psyched about it.
Well, that's good.
Yep. 3 other things I watched. I watched Family Guy, obviously. Not gonna talk about that one. Fantastic. I watched Extract on Amazon Prime.
What is that?
It's a Bateman movie.
Okay.
I think Craig would really like it. It's got him. It's got Ben Affleck in it as a long-haired, super hippie bartender.
I actually
Super strange.
I like that idea.
Yeah, and he nails it. And I'll be honest, Ben Affleck, every time I see him in something, I'm like, fuck, I hate him, but I love him so much. I feel like he's the kind of guy who I would just give dirty looks to if I saw him anywhere. I'd be like, this fucking guy. But then everything I watch him in, I'm like, he's such a good actor. Anyway, so he plays that, and he's on a major role in it. And then you got, oh man, I can't remember her name. It was the girl, Kristen Wiig. That's who it was. I was going to describe her as the super weird designer in Zoolander.
And
2.
I would have helped you out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kristen Wiig plays Bateman's wife, and she ends up cheating on him with a gigolo that gets hired by Jason Bateman.
Was he in Gigolo House?
No,
No.
he might have been.
I don't-
He might have been.
I,
Ask Gina. She might know. But anyways, this movie was so weird, but it was so funny in like a very strange way. I think you guys would like it. Very, very like mid 2000s funny.
I was gonna say I think it's from the mid 2000s, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
like 2009 or
I
something
think
like
I
that.
could like in my head picture the cover of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it says Extract, and it kind of looks like a combination between the Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle wording.
from the creator of
lettering-
Office
lettering.
Space. Fuck, I'm in.
Yes.
That's the other reason
Yeah.
I heard of it. I think.
And it's a weird but awesome movie, and I think you guys should watch it.
I am looking at the list of people that are in it. Jason Bateman, Mila Kunis, Kristen
Mila
Wiig,
Kunis.
Ben Affleck, J.K. Simmons, T.J. Miller.
Yeah, T.J. Miller plays a super weird like scream rock guy who works in the factory.
This sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's a super weird. Oh yeah, and J.K. Simmons plays like the number 2 of the company that Jason Bateman runs. It's awesome. And he doesn't know any of the employees' names. He just calls them like stupid fucking bullshit nicknames. But he calls them all the same names. So Jason Bateman doesn't know who he's talking about.
I loved Office Space. So...
Yeah, I think you're really gonna like this, Craig. The last movie I watched was another DC animated called Reign of the Supermen.
The newest one.
The newest one. It came out Tuesday. Amazon Prime got me that shit Monday. They hooked a brother up. Loved it. I went into it. I started it. I liked it. I paused it. Went to Kendall's house. Had dinner. Storm started, so I came home. And I finished it. And I was like, fuck yes. I'm glad I took an interval, though. I was starting to lose interest when I left. So when I came back and restarted like 5 minutes prior, like I was just fully into it again. You get to see Batman. Nope. You get to see Superman in the black suit.
Oh, snap.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to check that one out. I already know what happens in it because, well, it's based off comic books that have been out for 20 years.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I really liked it wasn't called Death of the Superman. I forget what it was called. It was another animated Superman movie where he faces Doomsday.
Oh, it's Apocalypse, I believe.
Is it Apocalypse?
Or am I thinking Public Enemy? There's like 3 ones where he...
No, because Apocalypse is where they go to Apocalypse. Okay. He takes Batman there, and they go like Big Barda.
Yeah,
and I think Wonder Woman goes.
Is it Public
Enemy?
But
they go there, and they gotta take down Supergirl.
Yeah, right.
Because she's working with
Doomsday.
or for as a general or as Darkseid.
Yeah, Darkseid. Not Doomsday.
And then Public Enemies is where Luthor he's the president and he creates his own like super squad, and then one of the members is killing everybody, and it ends up being, I forget his name, the Earth guy, like he fucking pulls whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I
know. But he has one. Now, yeah. He has one where he dies and he comes back to life.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I like that one better because it was one movie. And it wasn't 2 separate ones, but I like the extra stuff. I like the reign of the actual Superman characters.
Yeah.
And introducing them, and you get to see Cyborg Superman, and they do a good job at like making him seem like he's a hero, but there's also something shady about him because he looks like a fucking robot.
Yeah.
Good, like DC animated movies are so good for something just to burn. You know, watch an 82-minute movie.
That's what I love about them too. Is they're just a nice short one I can put on. It's like, oh, cool. I don't have to commit to 2 hours. Like. Yeah. Short and sweet. They get to the point.
Yeah, like honestly, I might watch the Lego Batman movie tonight just because it's so good.
That gets added to Netflix this month, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. The only thing I'm more excited for is Lego Movie 2.
The second part.
That's the only thing. The second part. Sorry.
Lego Movie 2, the second part.
Yeah.
That's the full name of the movie.
I love that.
Use it.
I love that they're all taking advantage of this finally. Like I'm so tired of these twos. I'm like, yes, there's so many ways you could say it. Switch it up. Yeah. Like we got Volume 2 back with, Guardians of the Galaxy. Just keep it coming. I don't want these, except for Parabellum. That one was like, wait, don't make up words.
Which one was Parabellum again?
That's the new John Wick.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I tried to Google Parabellum and Google didn't have it, so I'm just like, what? Is that not a real word?
Isn't that like part of your ear or something?
Oh, it's Latin for prepare for war. Well, then why didn't this show up last time? I must have spelt it wrong the first time. Huh. So I guess that does make sense as the Chapter 3 John Wick.
Semi-automatic pistol or machine gun.
Ooh, what? It's got multiple uses.
Is what it literally means.
Well, now we're getting a few different things. I don't know how neither of these came up last time I Googled it. Like, because I Googled it when the freaking trailer came out, because I'm like, what is Parabellum?
It's a proprietary name for a type of automatic firearm.
Yeah, I see that as the second definition, the 9 by 19 millimeter Parabellum.
It's to prepare for war as well, in Latin.
Yeah.
So it kind of works for both.
Yeah. Well, now I just got distracted by reading the Wikipedia page for Parabellum, which I think brings us to the end, doesn't it?
I think that brings us to the end. Scott's reading. It's the end of days. Let's end this podcast, guys.
All right. We'll talk to everybody next week.
Episode 70.
Bet.
69.
We made it almost the entire way through.
It's a good way to end it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.